Bitcoin and crypto is dumping. How long will this last? So you take a look at the price chart right here. We have been going down. And how low are we going to go? How low can you go? And how long is this going to last? First off, let me share one of my previous video. Well, actually my previous video here. This is, the previous video that I made. And we're going to take a look at this and take. Okay, here we go. Bitcoin could have a small or big correction in June, as you saw with the astrology. We did have a lot of volatility, which means we could absolutely get a correction or two. And additionally, when you looked at the technical analysis that I reviewed earlier in this video, we got 7 weeks up. We could be due for a correction because this is one of the longest, 7 weeks up we've ever had. I mean, the only other time we had Bitcoin 7 weeks up was, I believe, a couple of years ago. And then we did have 8 weeks up, like I showed you in the past, but it's been a long time since we've had that happen. In the most bullish case, we could get 8 weeks up. We could get another week, but, Okay, so I was saying it wasn't likely we were going to get another week up. I said, it is possible, but not likely. And I was talking about how Bitcoin has had 7 weeks up so far. And it's likely, what I was saying is that it's likely that we're going to head down. So if we go on the weekly chart here, I'll clean this up a little bit. And we take a look at how many weeks we went up. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks up, man. The last 7 weeks have been brilliant, at least for Bitcoin holders. And now we are already heading down pretty quickly. So I warned you guys in my last video. So check out my last video with the June astrology update. And of course, predictions for Bitcoin and crypto. So now that we're heading down, as I was saying, we are heading down before June, but I was saying, really pretty much any day now could happen. So right before June, we're getting this dump. We'll see what happens from here. Either we get another pump up or we could continue a bit more. How much more? There is likely some support around like 102, maybe even 104. If that breaks, then we could quite easily head down to something like 96 or anything below 100. In a pretty sizable dump, which I'm sure there would be a lot of fear in the market, is if we went down to the lower 90s, maybe around 92, 91. That's certainly possible too. I mean, if we do get a big scary event or something like that, could definitely happen. But those are the areas of support. If we go to the Bitcoin dominance, we're getting quite a bit of volatility. We're getting a lot of, we got this big dump with the dominance from in May. And then we've saw some strength, but it's heading into these resistance levels. So we got that dump, and typically in this area is around the 0.618 Fibonacci. We get a lot of resistance. So we're seeing a lot of resistance. And in these scenarios, it's certainly possible that the Bitcoin dominance falls off again, as it's seeming to stall out at this point. Today it's showing some strength, but we'll see where the daily close gets. Either we're going to get a daily close up in the green, or it could head back down like that. We shall see. The interesting thing is that Ethereum is holding up quite strong so far. I mean, it's still getting lower highs on the daily time frame, whereas coins like XRP are just going down. You see how XRP looks a lot weaker compared to Ethereum. Sui's getting, lower highs. Render is going down, 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 down. Cardano is going down, down, down. Not to say these aren't good buying opportunities, but I might wait a little longer here. But then if we go back to Ethereum, Ethereum's looking a bit stronger than the other altcoins, and we haven't seen Ethereum show some real strength, arguably in years. I mean, yeah. So I could make a video about Ethereum, but yeah, Ethereum's been on a downtrend for years, which has been crazy. But it's starting to show a little bit of strength. So could that be a hint? Because typically, if in altcoin runs, Ethereum makes the first move. Historically, once Ethereum goes on a run, then the altcoins follow. So as Bitcoin's showing some weakness, Ethereum's arguably showing a little bit of strength. You know, we could definitely have more weeks to go. Or perhaps we could see a breakout. I mean, if the Bitcoin dominance fell here, it would probably be due to something like Ethereum showing a lot of strength, or XRP, something like that. So we'll have to wait and see. You know, I definitely have a bag of XRP and a bag of Ethereum. What else to say? Oh, let me change this. Okay. So the volume is doing okay today. There's a bit, if we look on the right, top right here, there's a bit more people shorting the market, which typically happens when we get a dump. It is possible. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be going down more or if this is going to flip back up. But the daily exchange volume, I've been looking at this chart for months, is still showing some weakness. I think after today, it might uptick a little bit. So it's actually showing, dare I say it's showing strength? It's kind of giving some mixed signals where the good news is at least it's above this area here, 45, let's see. Oh, it's heading a little bit below that. But I think tomorrow we could see a pump. So anyways, we want to start seeing more strength from this chart. And if we do, that could be good for crypto as a whole. If we start seeing higher lows, a lot of people want to see proof of this, but in the last bull market, we kept getting higher lows before we hit the market peak, and then we fell off a cliff. So we want to keep seeing those higher lows, because that's when we got that huge altcoin run in 2021. For those who were not invested back then, you'll just have to trust me, because that's what happened. Oh, but the really interesting thing is if we look at the Bitcoin search volume, if we go all the way over here where we're at, it's still fairly low. I mean, it's much lower. So the really interesting thing is that Bitcoin, you know, recently created a new all-time high right here. As this is higher than we were back in December, we were at 109, and we just got to 112 about there. Yeah, 112. So we got a new all-time high, but here's the strange thing is that, but the Bitcoin search volume is still much lower than it was back in November when Bitcoin got a breakout and we got an altcoin run. So that basically shows right there that euphoria has still not entered the market, because typically when we have euphoria, we get a lot of search volume. Search volume is still much lower than it was in November when Bitcoin was, I think in November, Bitcoin was only in the 90s, wasn't it? 90Ks? Yeah, November, Bitcoin was in the 90s and there's more search volume than when it was at $112,000. So the good news with that is we could have more upside to go. And euphoria is not here, because typically when we reach high levels of euphoria, if we look at the last bull run, that was the end of the bull market. That was the blow off top when we got a peak in May 2021. We got that peak. So, I mean, we still haven't gotten that high of search volume as we got in 2021. As we've gotten all through this entire recent bull market in the last few years for Bitcoin. We still have not gotten the level of search volume that we got in 2021. So, arguably, euphoria still has not entered the market. Oh my gosh, I have to move my face. You guys didn't see what I was pointing at there, did you? So, what I was talking about is over here on the right. You see in the lower right, search volume is lower today than it was back in November. So that's what I was talking about. Hope that makes things more clear. And then, yeah, the greed, the Bitcoin fear and greed has gone down a little bit. That's understandable every time we get a dump. Last week we got extreme greed. And now we're heading back a bit lower. But if we zoom out, we're still in greed. And we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. So we'll see if we can, if Bitcoin gets a bigger dump and we start to see some fear enter the market, as that can be the best times to buy. Because we want to buy when the prices are low, right? And when the prices are low, people tend to be a lot more fearful. That's just how the game works. All right, and if you're an OG in this crypto game, you understand that. If you're new, it could be a new thing to learn. Okay, and the astrology, let me, let's see. I was going to open up, where is it? This one, might as well open up this one. I could even go to full screen. So this was the general astrology that I shared in my June update video. And so if you want to see the full video on this, oh, hold on. Let me make sure this looks better. If you want to see the full video, go check out my previous video on my channel. So the most recent video. All you got to do is go back and go to my channel and check out this video where I reviewed all of the general astrology. But heading into June, let's see. We actually get decently positive general astrology the first week of June. Heading up here. But then for Bitcoin, we have, on June 4th, we have Mars opposing the Bitcoin Neptune, which could be considered, yeah, usually considered negative. So, yeah, and then we have Venus squaring the Bitcoin Jupiter, slight negative. So that's why I'm wondering if we are going to head down lower. And then especially June 16th, we have Jupiter opposing the Bitcoin Pluto, which the last time this happened was all the way back in 2013, where Bitcoin was very close to a market low. So I'm wondering if we could get a low, if the low would be in by June 16th. But go take a look at my previous video on my channel, click on my channel, and go to the June astrology update for Bitcoin. And I also go further towards the end of the month of June, go into much more detail. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to head down a bit further, or is the local low in and it's a good buy opportunity now? I'm going to be more patient. I think patience is the way to win in this game. That is my main strategy. But it also has taken many years to cultivate the ability to be patient in this crypto wild, crazy, volatile game that we're playing here. If we look at, why don't we look at the USDT dominance? I don't look at this super often, but I want to look at this more. It's already been showing quite a bit of weakness, as if we take Fibonacci from the recent peak in April all the way down to the low of December of last year, the 50% levels right here, and the fact that we are below this 50% level here, we're still down here, is meaning that the chart is in a weak, the chart is in a weak place. So there could be, it's not guaranteed, but there could be more potential downside at some point. And that would be good for crypto, because when USDT goes down, that means people are selling their Tether and they're buying crypto with it. If we look, why don't we zoom out to the weekly RSI? Wow, is it bullish? Oh, that's a slight concern. It's showing some bullish divergence. That's interesting. But the stochastic RSI has already bottomed. That's surprising. That's a slight concern because it's showing bullish divergence. That's not actually very great. That's not what I want to see. If we go on the shorter term, on the daily, it's already bottomed and heading up. And then on the daily, the stochastic RSI has already peaked. And perhaps on the daily, there could be more downside. Okay, interesting. And if we look at the total too, which is the market excluding Bitcoin, still showing major resistance in this area. This is at the 50% level. If we go to the peak of December and then the bottom, the low in April, we've come all the way back up to the 50% level, but we really need to get through here. We need to bust through this area and start working our way up. It could be some more time for that to happen, as what I'm leaning, the scenario I'm leaning towards is, well, if you look at my previous June Bitcoin astrology video, what I was predicting is I think we're going to see a correction in June. We're already seeing it now. We could see something like, I don't know, I was initially thinking we're heading into the 90s, so could be something like that. Or it could easily be something like, you know, maybe we bounce back up or something and we get like an ABC correction. Something like this. And then I would be buying this dip really hard, really strongly, because the next move I'm thinking is going to go up like that. And yeah, feeling pretty strongly about that. So I have some cash on hand, about 15-20% cash, and I'd be buying that dip really hard because I think we'd be heading into another major leg up. All right, so what do you guys think in the comments below? Do you think we are heading down further? Do we have further downside to go? Or are we just going to keep heading up only? All right, let's see if we have any questions today. Here we go. May I ask you in which country you're currently at? Why? Why are you asking that? What's your time frame for the blow off top? It could either potentially the end of the year. Certainly possible. Either, yeah, that's tricky. That's tricky. Potentially the end of the year. Legend, thank you very much. Thanks for your update. Hi, Jack. I'm from Mauritius Island, Indian Ocean. Cute baby girl. God bless you. Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. All right, well, let me know if y'all have any more comments in the chat box below if you're watching the recording. And thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video. Peace, everybody.